What about the idea as well that Bud Selig gained enshrinement yesterday, and folks like Tony La Russa, who I know you know well, you could say that if performance-enhancing drugs was used by some of his players, Jose Canseco, we all know about that. Mark McGuire is no longer on the ballot because of it. That maybe his win total was somehow enhanced because of the performance-enhancing drug use by the players who helped win World Series. If those folks are in, why shouldn't we open the doors for the guys who actually put a needle in their body?
Well, there are two separate cases here. I think the case of Tony La Russa, who managed these players, that seems to me too many removes. The responsibility is with the player. We shouldn't deny them their moral agency. Bud Selig tried hard and met steadfast resistance from the Players Association under Don Fehr and Gene Orza, who at that point thought of themselves less as lawyers for very rich clients than they did civil rights lawyers. They were somehow defending privacy at the cost of the integrity of the game. So I think Bud Selig, who is a very good friend of mine, tried hard and could not move the union until public pressure, partly from Congress, caused the union to move. What's most interesting about this vote, it seems to me, is the Hall of Fame Museum. And I think people ought to understand that's not run by Major League Baseball.
Correct.
It's its own entity. The Hall of Fame's official title is National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. That seems to distinguish between the museum, which is artifacts and keeps a record of the history of the game, and the hall itself, that actual physical space where the plaques are. It seems to me the Hall of Fame has to make a decision and has to do it now. Is it just a museum that is a record of certain part of American culture? Or is it also a shrine, which is a very different thing, a kind of place of reverence? Now, I know, and I assume the people hearing us know, that the ballot instructions to the baseball writers who, after 10 years, become eligible to vote on this, the instruction says you're supposed to consider character, integrity, sportsmanship. So there's an ethical dimension to this. How important is it? And do they want to say, going forward, because of the steroid era, maybe we should be just a museum? That's not a trivial thing. It's an important thing to be.
It is.
If you have a museum of science and industry, you tell the record of American science and industry. If you have a museum of baseball, you tell the story. And you can't tell the story of American baseball without Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, arguably the best hitter and pitcher ever, some people say. So, as I say, the Hall of Fame has to make a decision. What is it?
Well, if you, George Will, could wave your hand as a baseball czar, if you will, which one would you choose?
I don't know. I'm genuinely, it seems to someone who isn't conflicted, isn't taking this seriously. Mm-hmm. By its moral dimension, the Hall of Fame is saying success that isn't achieved honorably isn't real success. And it's a big step if something as important as the Hall of Fame, no other sports Hall of Fame is taken as seriously as this, is going to say, well, somehow we're going to blur the line between honorable success and not. Take the case of Fred McGriff. 493 home runs, not a taint of suspicion that he used PEDs. If he had used them, he'd have been well over 500 home runs, and he'd be in the Hall of Fame. Instead, this week, he got 21% of the vote, far short of the 75% needed to get in. He's paid a terrible price.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.